Baby, I am pumped for today's episode.
Me too.
Why are you pumped?
Because I think it's going to be relevant. I think it's going to be fun.
Okay, welcome to Long Haul Marriage.
Hey, babe.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm freezing.
You look pretty.
Thank you.
So we just got out of the pool. We're not going to talk about the polar plunge, but it is, 34 degrees? We have snow all over the ground here in Aurora, Texas. Snowed like Thursday night, snowed all day Thursday and all night Thursday night. And then, so Friday, it was still snowing this morning. And, man, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful.
I do have a question for anyone that could be listening from other northern states.
Yeah.
Like, we love a good snow day.
Yep.
Like, I've been so happy these last couple of days, and I just walk out in my shorts and take pictures of our beautiful house and watch the neighbors all build snowmen. So is that just because we have a couple of days a year that we enjoy a snow day, like a good snow day, or in other states, or even in Norway, or other people that are listening from freezing cold places that have a lot of snow? Are you done with the snow? Like, how long does it take for you to be done with the snow? And like, are you like snow day, schmo day, every day is snow day?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know. But yeah, we want to hear from you. Comment and let us know. I would let us know. Get it? I would guess that.
I get it.
I would guess that the novelty wears off. So maybe once you've lived there for a while, it's like, snow. You know, you get tired of it, or it's just integrated into your life, and so you're used to it.
Or it's
for
messy,
us, or maybe the first snow of the season. But again, they have snow year round. Some of the places. But for us, it's so infrequent. So the novelty of it. When it snows, we all want to go out and make the most of it.
Yeah.
And we can't drive in it and all that. But yeah, it's beautiful. And we're all in our comfies today.
I know.
I got my little comfy sweatshirt that the kids gave me for Christmas.
I should have put
you got
on
your
my cozy socks, though. My fuzzy socks, because my feet are freezing.
Your feet are freezing. My feet are freezing. So, and I'm not even going to show what I'm wearing down there. So just got us up here today. So really cool thing happened over. So we released our first video podcast last week, and so YouTube, we gained like 475 subscribers.
Wow!
With that first video, podcast. So
awesome.
I'm so pumped.
That's exciting.
We did ask you for some comments, and I was very disappointed. We got 0 comments. So we're just going to be making up what we want to talk about. No, it's cool. This thing is growing. We're hearing from so many people, actually, and not just comments on the podcast. A lot of people don't want to do that. But we're having people reach out and email us and DM us and stuff. So, yeah, And
hop on our website, and they subscribe to our newsletter.
Yep.
It's like
we're getting subscribers. People
good.
are reading us about the newsletters, and they're taking advantage of the counseling. And we're loving that. We had 5 couples yesterday, and man, you would think, people say, man, does that drain you? Man, no, it just energizes us. We just want to share what's going on with us, and how we get done and we have a few minutes before a session, and we high five in the kitchen and grab another cup of coffee or some hot tea or a little snacky or something. By the way, your hair looks pretty.
Thank you.
Somebody got their hair lightened.
I did.
Talk about it's the first time in history that you've ever lightened your hair.
I am 57 years old.
Yeah.
And I've never lightened my hair.
Yep.
Love
it.
So
it looks great.
So I would say shout out to Ryan Castle for a great haircut.
Yes.
Who cut several weeks ago, about 9 inches off.
Come on, show them. Look at the camera. Look at that.
About 9 inches. So Ryan Castle, Fort Worth, Texas, 3rd place. Awesome. And then Zoe Penzis colored it. So she's a friend of ours.
Way to go, Zoe.
We've talked she's in Highland Village, and she's an amazing color artist. So we had talked about it, and I said, I've never done it before. And she was like, you should come. Let me
Seriously,
just
Zoe, you did great. I mean, you're worried about sometimes the yellow or the too blonde. I mean, it looks so natural. Just some streaks here and there, and just very natural. We went out.
Yeah.
We hit little Cactus Canyon for date night, and just sitting across from you, I thought, man, who's this hot girl I'm on this date with?
Thank you.
But yeah, nothing too drastic.
I love it because it's not too crazy. And this is what I told her. I said, I'm going to be probably your worst nightmare, your most horrible client. And she just laughed. I said, I want something that will lighten it, but not where I ever have to come see you again. Like I want to see you again, like, you know, come over to the house or let's meet for lunch, but I don't want to have to maintain something else, you know? And so she just laughed and she said, I got you, you know, but now I really love it.
Yeah. So you've already scheduled for March.
I know. So I really do think for sure, because it does seem funny that I'm going out in the middle of a snowstorm and it wasn't snowy whenever I got it cut, but it was right before it hit. But that's not normally when people would probably go lighten their hair. It's like usually summertime. But I don't know. I just kind of got the.
It looks great.
Thank you.
It really does look good.
Thank you.
Does mine look good?
Yours looks. Put that hat back on. Oh, speaking of hats.
Yes. We got the merch ordered. So yeah, we're going to be having the long haul marriage. Yeah, this is not it.
That's not it.
This is Magnolia. The Gaines. Yeah, Texas. Anyway, but yeah, we have the long haul marriage hat that's coming. Good night. I can't wait. It's so cool.
I know.
It's our logo, and it's going to be a cool hat.
Yep. We may have some available for purchase at some point.
For all of you. Oh, yeah. And some giveaways for all of you Richardson 112 guys and girls. And the Pacific Headwear. Go look that up. The Pacific Headwear 104C.
May not even know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. They're going to know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but I'm going to set them up with some good merch.
That's good.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
That's good.
Well,
and I know we're not just talking about our merch, but I want to say specifically about my sweatshirt today that I love it. I live in it, but also I'm wearing it kind of in honor of Melissa and David, our niece and nephew that live in California, and we have friends and family that live there, and just thinking about you guys a lot that have friends and family there or that live there, and the fires, the devastation, just really anyway. So they gave me this sweatshirt for Christmas.
Okay, I was wondering about the connection.
They gave me this sweatshirt for Christmas. Shout out to David and Melissa. Yeah. And it just made me, it makes me think about them.
It's been devastating. Yeah. It's funny, we were talking about what we were going to discuss on today's episode, and part of it, we're going to actually take a detour from where we started. We were going to just talk about being on our phones too much, on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, all the things, and all the good stuff about it. It's out there. You can get information, and many people don't want to watch the mainstream media or the news. They get all of their information from social media. But the downside is you're taking in so much information all at once. It's very addictive. So many times we're staying on it for hours, and when things are so negative, it's a problem. It's a big deal to have that much negativity coming in and you consuming that, and that's all you think about all the time. I want us to think about and see the devastation and pray about those people and try to help them and have compassionate hearts toward them. Because we want that. We want communities to come together and be there for one another because we're all going to need it at some point. But when that's all you're consuming, and you said this when I was talking about, man, just go outside, see your neighbors, go out and play in the snow or what have you. But some people can't go out and play in the snow. They can't be with their neighbors, right? So it's during that time that we have to be mindful. But man, if that's all you're looking at all the time, you said it takes away your gratitude. It just depresses you. I'm seeing people on social media talking about how, man, they just don't want to be here anymore. I'm like they don't want to be on planet Earth anymore. And that's sad. So we have to watch that. We are going to talk, do a whole episode on the consumption of social media and how it rewires our brain.
And news. We know people who they have their TV on 24/7 on the news. That's the thing, is it never stops. Social media never stops. The news never stops.
And then, if that's all you're consuming, then the question is, what is even true? What do you believe? What's, quote, fake news? What's propaganda? Again, You just have to watch that. But that's not what we're going to talk about today.
No.
Back to, I know this is a squirrel, but David and Melissa, I thought you were going to talk about their David's team, Ohio State. Playing.
No,
so
but that is a
by the
biggie.
time people hear this podcast, we will know who is going to be playing Notre Dame because they beat Penn State last night. And so it's going to be Texas or Ohio State University.
So here's the rival of the century.
Yeah.
So my brother Wes has always lived in Austin. Huge Horns fan. And then David, my nephew, married into the family, and he is used to play for Ohio State, and is a huge to the core Ohio State fan. So I bet there will be some.
It's going to be fun.
Some.
Yeah, interfamily rivalry.
Yeah, some
texting going back and forth, talking smack.
And everybody that's driving for the game, be careful driving into the Metroplex.
Night. We have some friends driving from Tennessee to Texas. They started last night.
Coming in for a wedding and coming to stay with us. And
car broke down. Got it going again. Car broke down again. Had to get towed to an airport for a rental car. Oh my gosh, it was bad. And they're stuck parked in traffic right now on the road because they're so bad. But they had to come.
Y'all all be careful. So, one thing I wanted to bring up today, because it's been something that we've seen over and over and over with couples, families that we've met with, there's usually, it's all over the board, different things that people talk about, but you do kind of see some similar themes rise into the top. And it seems over the last, I would say, I don't know, probably 6 weeks or so, several people that we've talked about, a big theme coming up is these young couples. They're, fairly newly married, brand new parents. They either have like a 6-month-old or an 18-month-old or, just some kind of ankle biter kids. And their marriage is, they love each other. There's not like huge, roadblocks in their marriage. It's just kind of, they've become mom and dad, they've become just kind of roommates, and it's become all around their kids, and they just feel like they're just every day just pouring out for their kids. And so a couple of things that I've noticed as we've talked to them, kind of a common theme is the moms, these young moms who just feel like, I've lost myself. Like, who am I anymore? I know I'm a mom. I can do all the mom stuff. I'm a pretty good mom, and sometimes I don't know that if I am, they question that, but who am I? Like, I was this girl who, was like the life of the party, or who enjoyed, being with friends, or went straight from living with college roommates to marrying him. And, it was just fun and carefree. And these were my hobbies. These were the things I loved to do. These were some things that I did to, maybe take care of myself, or whatever. And then now they're married. They've got a baby. They pour every bit of energy they have into that. They're tired. They're haggard. Some of them work outside the home. Some of them work inside the home. It's
all the hormonal changes, the body changing, which again, the hormones affect the mind. So, and it's, some of them started having kids right off the bat. Right?
Yes.
And some of them waited 4 or 5 years. But either way, that is such a huge life-changing event, life-altering event. So a lot of times, they become mommy and daddy, and they've lost themselves. And we're hearing that. And so what are some things? First, I want you, because I heard you talking to one of our clients about how it changed you and what you were feeling during that time. So just talk about that. Just that going back to us being married 5 years, no kids, being able to pick up and do things spontaneously. We want to go on a trip. Let's go. We want to go out on a date. We go out on a date. We want to go be with friends at a party. We can do that. And now, boom, we have this kid. So everything, it seems like your freedom's gone. Everything's come to a screeching halt. You have to be home taking care of baby. So talk about how that felt for you.
So as I listened to them, just kind of tell kind of where they're feeling and ask questions and digged a little bit more. And, they were kind of like, wow, seem to be like reading my mail. Like that's like you're describing exact. I said, because I remember, and I even remember tearing up a couple of times. And I said, our oldest Chandler's 30 years ago is when I experienced all that for the first time. That's a long time, 30 years, but it still can bring me to tears talking about it, because I remember
that. You got emotional.
It is just, it's so ingrained in me, that feeling that I had. And I'm, first of all, so thankful that they are having someone to talk about it with, I don't know that I talked about it. I just kind of, you just do what you do, and so I probably was like sitting in that a lot, and maybe not even dealing with it, but kind of pushing it down, like having these feelings like, man, I'm sad about the person that I lost. I'm like, who is that girl? That girl that I used to be, will I ever be her again? And kind of grieving this loss of who you were, and then feeling guilty because you're like, I have this baby that I love with my whole heart. And it just feels like this mix of like this toxic soup of emotions. Like, am I allowed to feel both of those things? So I should love my baby. So maybe what I'm feeling about missing the girl that I was, that's a bad thought. And I shouldn't have that thought. And so trying to push that away and thinking no one else probably has these thoughts.
I saw the girl when you were relating that. I just saw how she felt like, oh my gosh, so I'm not crazy. Like literally, I'm not, selfish. I shouldn't feel guilty. You felt this too. I think you sat in it and you probably didn't share it because you kind of feel ashamed. Like, I shouldn't feel this way. I remember she kept saying that. I know I should be grateful, but it's like, we want to normalize that. You can be both grateful and still feel like you've lost something.
Yes.
And that's the tough part, I think, is that, and that's the contemplative way that I've learned from Richard Rohr, is that holding both of those simultaneously, not having to choose either or, but it's okay to be both. Because so many times we want to claim one or the other. And if we're feeling, our feelings are winning, this isn't fun. People are saying, oh, what a joy, what a blessing. I remember Chandler saying that. People were saying that. And as they're saying that, she's not connecting. She's thinking, this is hard. This is really, really hard. And I'm not feeling the blessing and the joy. Those intrusive thoughts, postpartum stuff, but even beyond postpartum and the hormonal stuff, it's that our lives are different. And like you said, it's like being okay to look back, and we did, when we started talking, that it's like a grief cycle, that really connected with her. Yeah.
I think
or with them.
When you were reading and listening to Richard Rohr, and I think you were the very first one who ever brought that idea into my mind that, it's not, it's this, not this binary, either or. It's this contemplative mindset of
non-dual thinking is what we normally do. And it's learning something new.
And really normalizing, like, yes, you can feel great grief and sadness and sorrow about this, while at the same time going, but I'm so grateful for this. And that doesn't make you crazy, and you don't have to dismiss one to have the other, that both of those they both belong. It all belongs. And I feel like whenever you brought that concept into my life, it changed everything for me, because then I began, like, so much, I guess, guilt that I would carry, or secret thoughts of like, wow, why am I feeling like this? And I shouldn't, and, just get rid of one of those thoughts, and, just shame, I guess, around that. It just brought so much freedom and grace and just this ease into my life. Like, okay, this makes so much sense. Yeah. And so not only about the young couples that we're talking about now, the moms that may be grieving that, and maybe even the dads, we haven't really talked about that, but it's changed everything. So like, okay, let's say currently, talking about the California, fires. for us to say, man, our hearts are broken for them, and to see pictures and to talk to friends and family and to hear from them. People have lost everything. Like, we can feel sad about that. And at the same moment, we can, a few minutes later, bundle up and go outside and build a snowman and have fun with our family and be, so full of joy for the family that we're, in the warm home that we're so grateful for.
Yeah.
Like, I think before, those were like competing thoughts for me. And like, I couldn't know about the hunger and starvation of, children in Africa. And at the same time, love my children and be so grateful for, I felt like this guilt, like that doesn't really, fit.
Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
No, I didn't. It was so good. But I realized after I said it, and if it were me hearing that, I would want to go, no, you just misspoke. And I did misspeak on when I said non-dual thinking is the way we're just programmed to do. It's actually dualistic thinking. So that dualistic binary either or thinking. And Rohr, we hear, gay or straight, right? Black or white, up or down, right? In or out. It's either or thinking. And that is where we start many times. And if you start there, he says, if you start with a no, you can never get to a yes. But if you start with a yes, you can move to a no. But you have to start with this everything belongs. Yeah, when you male or female, Republican, Democrat, and if you start saying which one is better, right? It's never true. It's never true. It's not about comparing either or, and that is a problem. But that's what we're trained to do in the West, and so it's having non-dual thinking, which is the contemplative, where you start, everything belongs, and that means everything belongs in me. So I can entertain both of those thoughts at one time and not feel so guilty or crazy or what have you. And so that has been something that has been a game changer for me. And like you said, once you start catching yourself, like, am I being dualistic in my thinking? That would be one of the lowest unevolved forms of consciousness, right? And if you look at Jesus, the Pharisees tried to trap Jesus in dualistic questions all the time. Well, hey, Jesus, which one is it? Is it this or this? And we always famously say, we see that Jesus, he didn't, answer their questions. He would answer their question with a question. But what he was doing, if you go back and look, he was saying, I'm not playing. If somebody said, hey, who's better, Hillary or Trump, right? He would have said, I'm not playing that game. And he wouldn't say neither one. He would ask them a whole nother question, which reframed it in a non-dual way. So that's something that's, and I think what you have done to help these women, especially women, try to find themselves again after they have felt all these weird feelings about losing who they are. That's helped them get on that track to non-dual thinking in other areas of their lives as well. Yeah,
that's good. So I will say too, just in the same vein of talking about the young parents and some of the people that we've met with, one thing that I encourage the young moms to do. And so if you're a young mom or an old mom like me, because I think it can happen in any time of your life, you kind of think, man, who am I? Who was that person, and just trying to kind of find your way through life, and kind of recreate yourself, as some people say. But what I think we've encouraged them to do is to go back, like take some time every day and just be quiet and still and like come back to center and find that voice inside of you, that we believe is the Holy Spirit, that is inside of you, that is leading you and guiding you back to yourself. But we're so out here, we're taking care of everybody else, and our minds are distracted and busy. And so we're anything but centered. And so when we can come back to center and think, man, who am I? Yeah. I think you will come back to find yourself. Sometimes we say you have to go away. You really don't. What that means is sometimes you do go away. I went one night to spend that night in the hotel, remember, in Fort Worth, which I would say, man, that was a really great, I wasn't running away from, we were doing great, but I was just struggling inside. There was a lot of change going on around me, and just finding a place where I could be still and quiet and kind of close out everything else and kind of come back to center. You will find the person, you are that same person. You are in a different stage of life, but and sometimes things change, you learn new things or you find new passions, okay, go chase those, go do those things. But if you were a girl who before loved to scrapbook, or junk journal, or you love to run, or you love to, do flower arrangements, or, cook, and that kind of stuff has been put to the side because you're too busy. You need to find time. You need to make time to go back to that person who, is creative in whatever form that is for you.
And so there's the guilt about feeling that way in the first place. And then there's the guilt about, well, yeah, it must be nice. That sounds great for you, but I can't, I don't have the time. And it's that self-care. It's the airplane, it loses pressure and the oxygen mask drop. If you're traveling with children, who do you put on first? You put on yourself first, because if you don't, then you can't put it on your kid. But we don't do that in life. And so it's when I ask, sometimes I'm like, what are you passionate about? What do you love? And they're like just staring at me. If I cut you open, why do you bleed? And they can't remember. They don't know because, and you're a 2 on the Enneagram. You're a helper. We talked about it last time. You're so unselfish. So you're giving to everyone else and you're thinking about everyone else before yourself. So many times that dies. And I can't think about me. I've got to be changing diapers. I've got to be breastfeeding. I've got to get the formula mixed up. I've got to be taking care of this child or these children. And we don't have time for dates. We don't have time for us. But if you don't do that, if you don't do the self-care, the soul care, you will not be any good to be the wife, the mother, the husband, the father. You just won't. And so it's finding that thing. And so I say, what did you love to do when you were a kid? Sometimes we do that. And so this is something real practical people can do. Just sit quietly and think, what did I do growing up? Was I an athlete? Did I love to paint? Did I love to dance? When's the last time you've danced if you love to dance? When's the last time you've sat down and played the piano? When's the last time you sang? And many times people will say, man, I haven't done that since 3rd grade. And sometimes it was, well, once we started having kids, all that went. But many times we don't connect with that person because that kid who loved to paint, to dance, to ride horses, whatever, because somebody said it's a waste of time. You're no good at it. That's silly. You should put that away. You shouldn't be pursuing that. You can't monetize that. There's so many messages we got that made us go away from maybe who we should be or could be in our lives. And that can carry over into marriage. And so sometimes we'll go way back and who were you? When's the last time? So if it's been forever since you painted and you love to paint, it was somebody recently, I love to put together puzzles. When's the last time you've done that? Okay, go do it. Go find a puzzle and put one together because that will connect you to who you are. For me, I think I've said it on here, maybe not. If I don't play the piano, it's not about playing for someone. It's not about monetizing it. I love to play the piano. And I'm good at it, right? There's some things that I'm not so good at it.
You're great at it.
But I play by ear and I love to play. And so the reason why I brought up, I'm not patting myself on the back there. I want everyone to hear, if you're passionate about something and no good at it, you suck at it, that can be frustrating. If you're great at something, but you're not passionate about it, it's boring. Yeah. You want to find that intersection, what you're passionate about and what you're competent or good at. And that will be something that's so fulfilling. And if I don't play the piano, a part of my heart dies. Something in me literally dies. Yeah. And so I need to be in there playing that piano so that I can be the best papa for my grandkids, the best husband for you, the best father for my kids, because a piece of me dies when I don't do that.
Yeah. And I think I'll go back to what you said a little bit ago. You said, how some people may think, well, it must be nice. I don't have to, I don't even have a piano, or I don't have to, I've got to work to provide for this family. How am I going to go and play the piano or go put a puzzle together? Life isn't about games. I'm not going to, whatever. I have found myself whenever I say things like that.
Wow, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Of course. It was on silent, do not disturb, and it still went off.
I sometimes find myself just making excuses because you think it's either got to be all or nothing. If I was a dancer, what am I going to do? I don't have the money or the time to go take dance classes or go teach dance classes or whatever anymore. It's not about that. We make it a bigger thing, I think, because we feel overwhelmed in our life. And so you think, well, I don't have all the time to go, must be nice, and so that's really just an excuse. What if you just went in, like for you, if you have a super busy day, I notice this about you. You'll go in even between appointments and it may be 5 minutes. And sometimes I think that's kind of like a way for you to
detox, reset. All that.
But you just go in there and you just play a little ditty and it kind of helps you shake it off. So if you're, into dance, I'm not saying go teach dance or go take dance classes, but what if while you're, baby's asleep or while you have a minute between appointments, go turn on something and do your dance, or, get a small little puzzle and start putting it together. Or, you don't have to have a whole paint studio. If you're a painter, find a place where you can just, start painting on one canvas, just something that will scratch that itch that will remind you of what you love or what you're good at, what you're passionate about.
And if it's just some being spontaneous, being able to go out with your friends, and your spouse has said, hey, go, sweetheart, go out with your friends. Allow your husband to watch the kid. Allow them. They're not a babysitter. They're not doing your, they're a dad. And you need to not feel guilty about that. It's almost like we were giving permission to some of these young moms to allow the husband to step up and do that, because they're willing. A lot of times they just said, oh no, they've asked. I just didn't want to do it. Right. They felt guilty. And it's putting yourself, remember, into that situation to develop the resilience. It's,
and I think
maybe I felt anxious about leaving my, okay, well then do it and see, they're going to live.
Yeah.
Right?
You feel anxious about something, or you feel like, man, I've lost my confidence. Yeah. I'm saying I used to love to dance, or I used to love to paint, or I used to be a runner, but you think, what if I suck?
Right.
Like, what if I'm not good at it? And then I'll feel even more horrible about myself. Like there's, you just kind of need to do it and watch it, come back, watch it bring you joy. And that one thing might lead to another. And it just, I think, brings freedom.
Yeah.
It makes you realize, you're a great mom, this is a huge part of your life, but you don't have, it's not all or nothing. You can bring some of those things back and remember who you are, what you love to do. And you are more than a mom, more than a wife. You are a girl who used to love this and who was creative, or who used to do this and can still do that. It's just, there's some grief there that you're working through, and then you can start inviting some of that stuff back in.
And I think this could come easier from you to these women, because if I start saying it, they're like, oh, dude, you don't understand. But talk about, and we'll end on this concept of it's the highest calling. Because sometimes another thing we've been hearing is they feel like they're missing out. They've just stuck at the house. And again, they don't want to feel guilty because they have this little bundle of joy, but they feel like, wow, wait, I was a career woman, or I'm missing the FOMO. I'm not going out with my friends, or I'm not pursuing that career. I'm not out and about doing whatever. And we talked about reframing that, not having regret that, oh man, we started having kids so soon, but that it's the highest calling to pour into this kid and to be the mom and to be having this family that we've now seen has grown into this legacy with grown kids and grandkids who want to be here. So talk about that.
Yeah. Well, you pretty much said it all.
Well,
that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, just give a stamp of.
I just would say that I would not go back and trade any of that for anything in the whole wide world. For $1 bazillion. I would not go back and trade the time that I invested in my kids, and from day to day that it's time for another bath, it's time for another nap. And we're going to, there's going to be a fight on our hands, with the toddler who doesn't want to do this or that or whatever, I mean, it is so true, that saying that's so, trite, it seems, but the days are long, but the years are short, And now looking back at our 30-year-old, our 28-year-old, and she's almost 31 and almost 29 and 23. Anyway, looking back, man, it doesn't seem like it was yesterday. It's been a while, but it does seem like, man, you do blink and fast forward, and now they're having their own kids and our grandkids, and now watching them invest in their kids, reading to them, playing out in the snow with them, taking them on walks, doing fun things with them like that. It just, you realize like, wow, everything you do to bring love and comfort and peace to that child's life, it will change. It nurtures them and creates this little human being that now grows up and are your very best friends. Yeah. Like, we want to spend as much time with them as possible,
Yeah. So as we end today, I just want to encourage every young mom out there, especially, just to, if you need to go have a memorial service for your previous self before you had your little bundle of joy, go ahead and have that little funeral, have that memorial service, and say thank you for your service, and I wish you well, and I'll see you on the other side. And if you need to go resurrect that person, go resurrect her. It's just, but embrace this season and see that it is not wasted and it's not too soon, and you have no regret. You will have the most fulfilled life if you just pour everything into the present, and it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
Talk to you later.
Okay.
Adios, amigo.
All right.